Season 2 obviously hasn't come out yet. Is
Yeah.
there anything you can say about your character or the storylines, or will you get in trouble?
Wow, you're right out of the gate with the burning questions, aren't you? No. But I can tell you what I'm curious about. I would be extremely excited for us to go a little bit more in depth with the history and the background of the characters. I'm curious about Hamish's home life. You know, what's the relationship like with his father? There's a sense that things are strained. I mean, lying to your family for 8 years so you can be a vigilante in college and doing like 3 bachelors in philosophy is not the way to impress your entrepreneurial father. So you can imagine things are a little bit tense in the home front. And I'm hoping that with Season 2, with the world established, the universe already there, we're going to get a chance to go way deeper, not just with the backstories of the characters, but with the world itself. You know, I'm curious about what are the other Order houses like. You know, they're all over the world. This isn't just a single contained thing. Like, the potential for interesting characters and stories is just limitless, I think.
Then when you first read the script for the pilot, what intrigued you about this role in this universe? Because it's so unique. Obviously, it deals with magic and secret society. So what drew you to that role where you're like, I need to play this role?
Oh my God, that's such a cool question. I fell in love with this script pretty much immediately upon opening it. The audition was great. They gave us 4 scenes from the first episode. And there was something incredibly refreshing about the way that it never kind of sat in the darkness for too long. It has this really gritty, old school kind of horror vibe to it. A lot of special effects, a lot of prosthetic effects. But at the same time, it's never afraid to go for the punchline in every scene, which I thought just walked such an interesting line. We get to swear, which is kind of cool. It's nice to be on a streaming show. You're like, oh, this is cool. This isn't CBC. Oh, sorry about that. Yeah, I immediately, like, it became sort of like, yeah, that would be cool, but realistically, come on, you're a Vancouver-based actor. This is Netflix. This is like the coolest script that's come in all year. What are the chances, really?
And who doesn't have Netflix? So, like, that's a great platform to be on, too. And then, so, how would you describe this show to someone who, you know, maybe hasn't heard of it or who is looking to watch it? What is one thing that you could give to them, like, this is what it's all about?
That's a really cool question. I don't know. Do I look at the camera? Do I look at you guys? Sure.
Look at the camera.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Probably, like, I want to say something about, like, power and responsibility and friendship and love and all that stuff. But I think you can probably simplify it by just saying, like, it's asking a question, I think, of its audience. And that question, I think, is, what would you be willing to sacrifice if you could never have to pay for pizza again? Or if you could never write an exam for the rest of your life? You could have anything you want, except that guy's got to break his ankle. It's an interesting question. Or you got to break your ankle. Or, you know, the magic has a price to it. Magic has a cost. And I think that's a really interesting lens with which to view this universe, this kind of genre series.
And then obviously it's not a normal college experience, at least I hope it wasn't. But what would be your first impressions if you know, first day of college and all this wacky stuff is going on? Would you drop out or would you continue to be enrolled in this college?
I would love it. I would love it. I would be incredibly enthralled by the whole experience and a little bit, like, I would feel so left out. You know, don't you think? Like,
I think so.
That being said, though, I think they're pretty good at keeping up this whole ruse. Like, the amount of crazy stuff that goes down on that campus, people getting disemboweled and, you know, murder and all this wonderful stuff, you know, it seems fairly easy to just be like, oh, it was a bike accident, you know? So I'd be lucky if I had any sense of what was going on.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't seem like the safest place, but, you know, I mean, the adventure's there. So the last question is, with all these, like, different shows in the media landscape, what makes the Order so unique?
What makes the Order so unique?
Yes.
It's old school in the way it handles the horror. A lot of the effects, again, were special effects, so a lot of physical, and I mean, it is essentially wizardry watching how these people come up with these smoke effects, and the prosthetic werewolf suit was just incredible, the level of detail. But I think what really makes the show stand out is the way it's never afraid to just go for the punchline in every scene. I think it's incredibly refreshing. You don't ever get mired in the darkness. It can get a little depressing sometimes, if you know what I mean. There's a lot of heavy stuff in this show, but what I think elevates it and keeps it light and keeps it engaged is just the humor and the love and the comedy in it.
It's a good balance for sure.
Definitely.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, and good luck with season 2.
My pleasure. Thank you.